talking with Megan Becker of the Field Museum about building a sustainable strategy for the food service. And how did that strategy get put together for you guys?
As we were in a position, the contracts were being renegotiated. We're looking at what opportunities really do we have. Three main priorities that we were looking for. And one of them, of course, it does need to be financial because food operations benefit the museum. The second thing, it was really integrating, how do we integrate the food operators into the museum and the museum back into the food operator, into that restaurant, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And the third thing is, and this wasn't in any kind of particular order, was this idea of a sustainable model. And I started looking into the different kind of programs and certification programs that were out there, such as Green Restaurant Association and Green Seal, and then there was B Corps and a number of others, and then there was this Apex program that was kind of floating around out there at the time, and just looked into it enough to kind of say, okay, get a sense of what these programs were like, and essentially said these are all really great programs, but they either didn't fit the museum perfectly, or I felt like there were weaknesses in them, mm-hmm. and kind of holes to fill. And so I thought to myself, what if I put them into a pot, kind of stirred them up, picked out what worked, left what didn't work, and plugged in the holes? Could I do that? Would that work? And would that work here in Chicago? Is it realistic in mm-hmm. Chicago? Is it attainable, etc.? And it was at that point that I just literally sat there and I was like, now what do I do? And that's when I called Greg. Do this. How do we plug the holes? How do we create something that's going to work here, that's going to be customized for the museum? And then essentially he came in with a couple of people, and I brought somebody in, Elson from the museum, who works on our sustainable efforts here at the museum, mm-hmm. and we just holed up in a room for 2 days mm-hmm. and just kind of brain dumped and said, this is where we're at, this is where we'd like to be, these are the areas that we want to focus on, this is what we think is important. That whole time there is this like rapid dialogue going back and forth of why does it matter to you that you want to use local food? Why does it matter to you you want to use organic food? And then explaining to us really the difference. I'm talking about food waste, teaching us about that it's not just about the waste going out, but reduce it coming in.
Right.
And then, kind of laying that all out on the table. It was really kind of taking what really matters, what is going to make a difference. But it's also about, you do what you can do. And this is our DNA. This program is the Field Museum's DNA. Mm-hmm. And it's doable and it's attainable.
And tell me how this plan is paced out.
So the way then the program ended up, it's a 10-year program, and kind of with year one, we just simply ask a food operator to basically monitor and measure just where are they at, just mm-hmm. where is their current reality at. Mm-hmm. So we would have a baseline to mm-hmm. kind of go from. And then in very small baby steps for the first 2 to 5 years, sort of inch up their way in successes, reducing the waste coming in, reducing the waste then going out, purchasing a certain percentage of local food, of organic food. One of the things that I did here at the Field Museum, and something that I did see across the board that there was no mention in any of these other certification programs or programs in general, there's no educational component of it. And so, we wrote in an educational component into the sustainable program.
It's very specific to your organization.
Very specific to our organization. So there's all those just little things that are in there in the beginning. And so then, by year 3 to year 5, kind of going like this, they slowly start going up. And then all of a sudden, they've now become these kind of experts. and they're really knowledgeable, and they're empowered, they're given the tools to succeed, boom, and
Yeah.
it just goes right. Have the support of everybody. And that doesn't mean that you walk into a situation and everybody agrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have that first go-ahead. You just have to have that first door open to say, hey, I want to talk to you about an idea I have. And I was fortunate.
Can we explore this as an organization? Right?
I was fortunate enough to have it, and I had it. And essentially that's what happened with this. Now, the reality is that you have to, it has to be written again in such a way that it's attainable, and that doesn't mean easy, but don't put yourself into a situation that there's just no way that's going to happen, so why do it? You know, don't fail before you even go out the gate.